are we going to be the last generation that has like older people or grandparents that, like went through the Great Depression and like bad times where they just save everything, like when it comes to food? Like for example, my grandmother will freeze bread and cereal. Like she'll let meat go. I've seen Mark put cereal in the freezer. You know this, I know this, God knows this. But she also will let, not spoiled meat, but she will, like, to the precipice of while the meat's good. It's like some Oregon Trail type stuff, like, oh no, the stock market crashed, here comes the Russians, the grocery store's not there anymore, you can't get gas, what are we gonna eat? Like, it just keeps gallons and gallons of water. Like, it's not like a doomsday prepper, being like apocalypse or anything. It's just like, hey, if something does go wrong, I've got a bakery full of croissants just in the freezer. Like I don't know if I'm gonna do that. Like I don't with my grandkids. I don't know if they're like, yeah, Papa Jake keeps all the stuff in the freezer. But like those are people who have gone through like the worst of times. Like nothing that we've gone through that we know. I mean, hell, all right, compared to the stuff they've gone through, we really hadn't gone through anything. If you really want to,
Cohen, I was thinking about that question you asked. I mean, has anybody really used the entire bar of soap?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about this with Rhino earlier. He was like, well, we were like, what are things that your grandparents do or did that is like very old school, like we have to keep everything kind of in that vein? And he's like, well, like the bar of soap, whenever it would be used pretty much all the way down, she would stick it on underneath the new bar of soap.
Genius. Why waste it?
That's just
I don't
little
think anyone
things
else
like
has
that.
used the full bar of soap. They just throw it away at the end.
Yeah, like it's genius. Like all the toys I've ever had since I was a little kid, I don't know why she's keeping them, but they're there. I mean, like broken rocking chair.
Y'all got toys?
Man, you got more toys than anybody.
Yeah.
You got more toys.
How many toys did Blaine
Don't
get?
sit up here.
You were the youngest. You basically
They just told me to go. They just told me to go outside.
It was like Toys R Us for you every day.
If you really think about it, was it messed up back in the day if your parents would like just go outside and they'd leave you outside until the lights?
No, it was perfect.
No.
That's what's wrong. That's what's missing.
So as a parent today, you'd be okay, but like,
No.
hey, just go outside.
No.
There's a book called Free Range Kids, actually, that talks about this, which like this parent in New York City allowed their, I don't know if it was son or daughter, to like walk a block to the deli and come back once they were like 11 years old, 12 years old, something like that. And they got like all sorts of hate mail for it because it was printed up in the New York Times or something like that. And the parent like wrote a full book on it called Free Range Kids, which is like, we have to trust our kids to be able to go and be outside.
Yeah, because I mean, I'd disappear for a day.
Well,
For a full day?
Not a full day. When the street lights came down, I had to be back home. But
Well, then that's normal.
Well, I think there's a difference between, hey, y'all go play in the backyard, invite some neighborhood kids over, or you're going to walk to Kroger today. Like, I'm going to be honest, after what I've seen, my kid's not walking to Kroger. I'll drive you to Kroger. We'll get the neighborhood kids over. You can go over to somebody's house, and I'll watch you walk over there. There's too many freaks out there today. There's just too many. Now, when they get a certain age where you can defend yourself, I mean, you look at getting 14, 15, somewhere around there, that's a little bit different. But I'm not letting my 10-year-old daughter walk down to Kroger by herself with all these weirdos that want OnlyFans feet pics.
Unless you're traveling.
Back in the day, I wasn't, back in the day, you didn't have a ton of this. This really didn't start talking about kids getting snatched till like the 70s.
Unless they travel in packs. If there's 11
like
kids,
from a high volume,
nothing
man, I'm
more,
watching
there's
a
nothing
documentary right
scared.
now.
There's nothing scarier than like 7, 10-year-olds running around together.
Just ready
No
to
one
whip
wants them.
somebody's
No
ass.
one wants those problems.
Yeah, like a little gang of 10-year-olds. It's like a bunch of like little hobbits walking around in like a gang trying to take over the city. The Clown and the Candyman.
That sounds terrible.
Why are you watching that?
Yeah, see, that sounds terrible.
Is that what Reed's having to wake up to after you've fallen asleep?
No, that's World War II. That's air raid sirens and stuff like that. No, but it's Prime, Amazon Prime. It every now and then will like recommend like certain documentaries because I watch like a ton of different documentaries. And this one came up. It's just fascinating. I like to learn, David, about sports and science and mathematics.
Candyman.
Well, yeah, I was watching last night. We
Candyman.
just had a breakthrough with nuclear fusion, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
No one really does.
The Kansas City Chiefs win their 7th consecutive AFC West title. The Patriots lose to the Raiders in a disastrous fashion. I still can't believe it. And Lionel Messi, the little magician, leads Argentina to World Cup glory. I'm Jake Crane. It's Monday. Let's get it going, people. It's time for Crane and Company. Florida fans that are panicking after year one of the Billy Napier era need to calm down a little bit, okay? I realize that the Gators struggled down the stretch, including a loss to Vanderbilt, which isn't acceptable. But with what Napier inherited from a roster depth and culture standpoint, this isn't a death sentence for his tenure at Florida. Right now, his recruiting class ranks in the top 10 according to On3, and we know how dangerous the transfer portal is. And all it takes is a positive spark to start a run like a place in Gainesville. We've seen it before. Now, while we live in an era of instant gratification, to quote J.G. Wentworth, I want my money and I want it now, it takes a little time to mold a program into what you want it to be. Now, Napier understands the type of player and structure it takes to win in this league. He got the blueprint from the Dark Lord Nick Saban. Now, we've seen great coaches struggle in their first year because that's more natural than not. Believe it or not, coming in and balling in your first year is actually the anomaly. Now, he will get guys that will play with extreme effort, not like we saw in the bowl game, as he preaches discipline and implements his system. Billy Napier will win at Florida. Let me say that again. Billy Napier will win at Florida. All he needs is a little time and a little breathing room. And everybody that's acting like Jodie Foster needs to go to their panic room and chill out for a little bit. I'm going to bring in my co-host, David Cohn, 6'7", former Michigan quarterback, current NFL free agent. My brother, former Western State Colorado wide receiver, a dashing mustache, and also pretty cool tattoos on his wrist.
Think about getting a couple more.
No, I don't think you should.
I'm totally doing it.
No, I don't think you should.
For sure.
Maybe you should get a face
No
tat.
stopping me, Dad.
Maybe you should get a face tat.
I already got one.
Oh, that's right.
It's my face.
That's right. But guys, we saw how bad Florida looked against Oregon State. And we understand no AR-15. We know what happened to Kitna. No Ventrell Miller. No Osiris Torrance, who I think is the best offensive lineman in the whole draft. The dude didn't give up a quarterback hit or sack in over 3,000 snaps. I don't know what else you can possibly do on the offensive line. I understand the frustration. I understand you're looking at Georgia right now, and they're at the peak of where they've been in a long time. Could go back-to-back national championships. But I think the panic over Billy Napier needs to kind of be tampered down a little bit. We've seen coaches, and it's not like, it's one thing if you go to a place and you inherited a great situation. Maybe that coach went to the NFL or that coach took another big-time job but left the program in a great spot. Dan Mullen did not leave the Florida program in a great spot. Now, they had some players. They didn't have the depth that you need to compete in the current state of the SEC, and the culture at Florida was bad. It's harder to get the culture right than it is to get players in there. And really, when you look at it at the end of the day, getting the type players you want in there to build that culture goes into that. So I don't think it's time to panic. Now, if we're sitting here next year and they're 5-7 and they look disheveled and you're not seeing effort and things like that, then we'll have another conversation. But to freak out after year one, to me, is just too much, David.
Billy Napier is a great football coach, and I do think that the University of Florida is a place where you can win, and you can win quickly, especially given the status of the transfer portal and all those sorts of things. Think about this, though. Every coach since Urban Meyer at the University of Florida has had a 10-win season. Urban won 13 games 3 different times, and the last 2 coaches, with Dan Mullen and Jim McElwain, won double digits in their first season there. Now, I do agree with you that clearly Dan Mullen, who also had a losing record last season, did not leave the roster in a great spot for Billy Napier to come in and win right away. But with a talented quarterback like Anthony Richardson, and look, it's still the University of Florida, I think that expecting a winning season this first year was certainly within the realm of possibility. And Florida fans have a right to be disappointed, I think, especially after the way this bowl game played out. But if the term we're trying to use here is panic, then certainly not. You know, even you saying if they're 5-7 next season at this point, obviously that would be bad too, in which case you probably still get a third year. Right?
You would think, even though that it seems like the cycle sped up. Yeah, I don't want what I'm saying to be misconstrued as don't be disappointed. It's fine to be disappointed. But, I mean, you have GoFundMes that are starting to try and get this guy fired. And every fan base has that group that is a little bit over the top or eccentric. I mean, hell, fan is short for fanatical. I mean, that we know that. But I think Billy is the right guy at Florida. And I know you look at Florida State and Mike Norvell. You look at UCF going to the Big 12. You look at USF. It's going to be interesting to see how they do with Golish. Miami, Mario Cristobal. They're getting the linemen in there and they're recruiting at a high level. I think throwing Billy overboard after year one and creating a lot of negative momentum, because we live in the age of social media and the internet and everything gets published out there. And these recruits see this and it's a true momentum thing. I'm just telling Florida fans, just calm down a little bit. I understand you're upset, but to try and get rid of Billy Napier now, you are doing nothing but listening to the fringe of the fringe when it comes to fans or people that really care about the school, Blaine.
Should you panic if you're a Florida fan? No, I don't think so. Fully panic, like the Titanic's going down? No, but should there be a little bit of worry in there? I think so. The one thing you should feel good about, you are a top 10 class in recruiting. If anything, you can only do what you can your first year, but you lose to Vandy in that way. Locker room problems, effort problems. Then you go to the bowl game, get demolished, all right? AR-15, who in my opinion, I think probably should have came back to another year. He could have been one of the front runners for the Heisman. He goes to the draft. Now you have the backup quarterback situation with happened with Kitna. Who's going to play your quarterback next year? So there's a little worry that should be in there. I think Billy will win. I don't think he'll win anything big. The biggest thing for Florida you should be worried about is Miami and Florida State. Florida State is going to be a problem. All right, Miami, top 3 class, I believe in recruiting. Yep. Mario's get it done. Monsters are building around you as we speak. Keep recruiting. But, Billy, you have to win the games, some games that you're not supposed to win. Kind of like Utah this year. All right, that's a big win. Not supposed to win that game. Utah's a great team. But the one thing that scares me is that bowl game, they looked bad on all 3 phases.
Yeah, and they were missing a lot of players. It's hard for me. It's hard. The effort is one thing. You look at some of the plays in that game from Florida, the effort was atrocious. That would be the thing that kind of would be the seed in my mind that would create the most doubt. Not looking at the record, not the loss to Vanderbilt. Again, this team and this roster will look much different next year, will look much different 2 years down the road, and we'll see, but I don't think it's time to panic right now. And speaking of panicking, you never have to panic if you have the best sports book because you get the best deals, they give you the best offers, they got easy and fast payouts that are on time and first-class mail. It's my favorite thing to open up. Oh, it's a DraftKings check. I get to deposit straight in there. And our partners over at DraftKings Sportsbook are fantastic. You need to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now to get in on all the holiday hoops action. All right, you can sign up with code BOOSTER. That's BOOSTER, because if you place a $5 pregame moneyline bet on any NBA team to win, you get $150 in free bets if they do. That's only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code BOOSTER, BOOSTER. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. I had a 17 parlay, which I tweeted out yesterday, that hit. That the only one that didn't hit was the last leg, the Commanders plus 4.5. So I want to take this time, a little bit of time before we get to the Booster Club, to let everybody in the Washington Commanders organization know. Number one, I will never forgive you, regardless of how much good deeds, regardless of how much charity work, y'all could win the Walter Payton Man of the Year award every year from here to the rest of the time. But deep down, personally, from my family to your organization, I will never forget you. Shame on you. And I'm so disappointed and also disgusted. And on that note, hey, Blaine, what's going on in the Booster Club?
All right, let's go to Jimbo Eagle. What's up, Jimbo? I believe it's a $5 donation. Yes, it is. He says, what in the hell were the Pats thinking in the final lateral play? If that is not the dumbest sequence in NFL history.
It's a bad one.
It's worse than bad.
It's a really bad one. I want to run this clip, okay? But I want to explain to people on audio. For some reason, if your spaceship just landed on here, or you just got up from a coma this morning, first off, congratulations, welcome back. Depending on how long you've been out, you're going to be shocked and disappointed at a lot of what you see. But yesterday, 24-24 with 3 seconds to go. The Patriots have the ball on their own 45. Basically just kind of a last play. Should be able to get a Hail Mary off from here, I would think, for the NFL quarterback. I mean, it's a 55-yard throw. You don't have to be a mathematician to do that. I think Mac Jones can throw it that far. But the one thing you can't do is something stupid, penalty after an interception or something like that, or this. Let's play the clip.
Mac Hollins out on defense.
Mac Jones just hands the ball off. Mondre breaks the tackle, running down the field. Game's going to go to overtime.
Stop.
Laterals it back, and then Jacoby Myers. What are you doing, Jacoby Myers?
Look at Mac Jones.
Dude, I had the Raiders in this game, and this still inside turned my stomach. Super happy for Chandler Jones, former Patriot, but basically they lateraled it back, and the defense intercepted it and ran it all the way back for a walk-off touchdown. I've watched football since I was 3 years old. I've seen a lot, all right? I've been to the grasses of the Serengeti. I've scaled the tallest mountain in Timbuktu. I have seen the kick six, but I have never in my life, David Williford Cohn, seen what I just saw from the Patriots. How does a Bill Belichick coach team allow that to happen? I thought he was the master manipulator, Geppetto, pulling the strings on the puppet. You're a real boy now. Turns out you're not.
I can't believe it, man. I can't believe it. You have to go to overtime in that situation. And the way that the play broke down, with it being a run play, it wasn't like a hook and lateral situation down the field. I was starting to ask questions. Did Bill Belichick know that that was the play call?
No way.
Or once a couple tackles were broken by the running back, did it become like, hey, we're going to play backyard football now. We're going to start lateraling.
That's what I think happened.
I hope that it was not a called play. Well, either way, it's bad because then you have rogue players, throwing football. I thought the same thing that you just said. I had not seen that yesterday. Not to end a game. Not when you're tied.
That's
yes,
the biggest part.
I've seen it when you're down.
I've watched
Whatever
all
you have to do that. I have not seen it when a team is tied. You don't have Josh Allen on your team or Joe Burrow on your team. In this situation, you go to overtime. You play for overtime, and you see if you can win a game on the road in the last 10 minutes of extra time.
Well, I think this all started with the drive the Raiders had to tie this game.
4th and 10.
4th and 10. You drop 2 picks on the first 2 plays, and they get a 4th and 10, 20-plus seconds left. You have no safety help, and you get beat deep over the top. And then this happens. I go back, and I don't know if people remember this, but Bill Belichick versus the Dolphins, same thing, who put Gronk at the prevent spot, who gets beat by the Dolphins in the last second. So I don't know what's going on with this last second plays, stuff with Bill Belichick. Great during the entire game, but the last 10 seconds, last 20 seconds, disaster.
Well, I think Cohn's right. I think that was just, number one, if you're going to try and score there, you try and throw a Hail Mary. That's what you try and do. Or you run your conventional hook and ladder. They didn't throw the ball. They ran inside zone. I think what happened after Ramondre broke that second tackle, he thought, we can maybe score on this play. So then he lateraled it back, and then Jacoby Myers went with it and threw it right. If you're Mac Jones, can you imagine watching the sequence of that play? All right, we're getting ready to go to overtime. I hand the ball off. I'm watching Ramondre run down the field, thinking, all right, he's going to get tackled. Let's go to overtime. Then I see him pitch it. Then I see Jacoby Myers running back, and then Jacoby Myers throws it back in my direction, trying to throw it to me, and throws it right to the monster defensive end for the Raiders. And it's me and Chandler Jones, a battle of the Joneses.
I'm sorry.
You got to get better effort.
You have to do better than that, though.
Terrible.
I think part of it was
Maybe
Mac was so surprised.
Yeah, there
I
is
think
an
he was shocked. I don't think it was that Mac Jones is
I
soft.
just don't think you're ever going to tackle anybody like this.
No, let's play it again. Watch how surprised I think Mac Jones is here. Again, I'd be jogging off to the sidelines. All right, guys, let's get it going. Let's play the clip. Go ahead and play it. All right, go ahead and play it.
Mac Hollins.
So here we go. Right now, he breaks one. Right after this one, David, I think this is when he made the decision to pitch it, and then he pitches it. And watch the surprise from Mac Jones. What's going on?
You gotta get that.
What's going on, though?
man.
Like, think about it. No, but think about it like in like a human being sense. Obviously, when we know what happened now, in hindsight, looking back, you're like, yeah, you got to make that play. But just think about in that moment, if you're Mac Jones, like, what are you thinking? You're like, you know Chandler Jones about to catch that ball.
Is Chandler Jones not surprised too?
Chandler Jones is shocked as anybody. He's as shocked as anybody. But Chandler Jones is also twice the size of Mac Jones. So, like, it just, again.
Got to hold on.
You got to hold on.
You can get bodied. You can get bodied.
I thought
but still
Chandler
make the
Jones
tackle.
was going to pitch it back. I thought Chandler Jones was going to pitch it, and then he broke that tackle. But Mac, if you look, he just standing there flat-footed. I don't know. It's like one of those things where time slows down. Is this really happening? Did I get concussed and I'm on the sideline just imagining this?
And I've been celebrating for like 5 minutes because this game was sure to go into overtime.
Yep.
So was the Chargers game to go into overtime. I had Austin Eckler and Josh Jacobs. I'm like, hey, we're going to get some extra fantasy points here, maybe come back and win this thing. Neither of the games go into OT.
That's just how it
the
happens.
under 48.5 in that game, Dave.
Yeah, that hurts a lot.
All right, let's go to Brandon. Yo, that's rough. $5 donation. Appreciate it, Brandon. Says, hope you boys are having a good Monday. I'm still fuming about yesterday. Bench Mac, fire Patricia. You know what? Fire everybody. And Pats are offensive they're too sensitive on offense.
Well, I'll quote Vance Joseph. Their offense looks like a guy that coaches defense is calling the plays. It's exactly what it is. Did you see what yesterday? And it worked. It worked for a while. Matt Patricia's like, all right, we're just going to run it. We're just going to run it. We're just going to run it. Short game, quick game in the passing game. And it worked. Just dink, 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 dink down the field. Because he knows the thing that worries defensive guys the most isn't the vertical shots down the field or teams that just bomb it away all the time. Like it's the ones that will just check it down all the way down the field. Those are the ones that worry you. And sometimes Patricia does get in his bag a little bit like that, but I don't think that was a called play. I don't think it was a called play.
No, you can see it's not a called play. Look at the coaches on the side.
Yeah, I know. They're freaking
Every time they
out.
pitch it back, they're like, stop.
So it's hard for me. Like, you can say, okay, well, the coaches should have had him better prepared to not know to do that. And maybe I'm biased because I coached, but it's like, dude, we're in the NFL. How do you not know not to do that? Like, if we were in, this is like 5th grade.
But still, it's Bill Belichick.
Or like
right?
6th grade. It's Ramondre Stevenson. What are you doing?
It's Bill Belichick. He's always been known to what? It's the little things, right? It's the process.
It's
your job.
Look.
Do your job.
It's one thing if I have to teach you cotillion and put where the forks are. It's another thing if I got to teach you how to use the fork, okay?
I'd be equally as perplexed if that play worked and they scored a touchdown. Or I don't even want to call it a play because I still don't think it was a called play. If that tactic of pitching it back worked and they miraculously scored a touchdown, I would still be saying, why are you doing that?
I would say,
if you're going to do that, if you're
agree.
going to do that, get to one side, have some blockers on the other side of the field.
Create a little wall.
Yeah, and then throw it across.
But by the way, did either one of you, well, Blaine, you didn't, but did you go to cotillion? Did your parents send you to that?
No. But
All my
I think
friends
Darby
did it, and
Lewis
I didn't do
I don't
it.
even know what that is.
And I don't know.
I've
Something about it
recently
was
learned
weird
what
to
that
me.
was. So you didn't do it?
No, I didn't do it. I didn't trust it.
What is cotillion?
It's like where they take you, like, teach you how to, like,
Teach you
be, like,
manners.
all fancy.
You could
Like, you sit down here.
Actually,
We
I
ain't got
haven't
money.
gotten your Christmas gift yet.
Yeah, we ain't.
That's a good idea.
We didn't have money like that.
Huh? That's
Yeah,
a good idea. We'll send Blaine to
money like that.
cotillion
Well, it's
class.
like,
Yeah,
look,
good
they
luck.
used to come back and you know, all my friends would be like, God, it's the worst.
Oh, this is like
I was
the
like, so
salad
what is
fork?
this? I'd be like, explain it to me again. It's like, so we go in, they teach you, manners and stuff like that. I think they teach you like some dancing and stuff. I was like, that sounds like the worst time ever.
Yeah, my manners were
That sounds
yes sir,
like-
no sir. Yes,
Like,
sir,
I'm-
no.
I'm-
Feels like maybe
I
the
don't
next
trust
bet, in fantasy.
Loser has to
football.
go to cotillion.
Loser goes to
Do
cotillion.
we make bets in the playoffs though?
Why
not? Yes.
All the
I think
marbles.
I think you double
All the
down on the
marbles.
bets.
Yeah, double down.
I'm talking about one.
Oh, you
chip
did.
And I know
challenge.
this-
Did finish first
I know
in
this.
the regular season, which I feel.
Are y'all two going to
Congrats.
play each other in the first?
No.
We don't know. Are we
No.
not? Who am I playing?
Where'd you finish?
I don't know.
I think you're gonna finish
It's not
second. I'm
over,
gonna
right?
finish
Because it's going to come
first.
down to points.
Did
Yes.
you win or lose?
It'll.
To Clavin, I lost.
Okay, then I won. So I won 10-1. I got 10 wins.
So Blaine,
Clavin will have 10 wins, but you'll have
Yeah.
so you'll be third. So you and Clavin will play again, and I'll play Ben.
So you just played Clavin. Y'all going to rematch?
I've lost to him 3 times.
I've
lost
I
that-
haven't
look,
beaten
it's
him
hard to
either.
beat a good team 4
I
times.
haven't beaten him either.
But that's what I said this past time. I'm like, it's hard to beat a team 3 times. I
times.
feel good about this one. Now he's beaten me 3 times, and now I'm like, all right, well, I feel really good about not losing
harder.
4 times, but I don't really feel good about
Yeah,
it.
no. It's
Well, do you want to know how to feel really good? Why don't you hit up our friends over at Athletic Greens, which you already do.
Yep.
You can reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. It couldn't be simpler, all right? And to make it even easier and better, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free, that's right, free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Crane&Company. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/Crane&Company to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Guys, listen, it's never been more important to have a good immune system. Who knows what's coming next? So you might as well just get Athletic Greens and just absolutely dominate that stuff like we do every morning. Cone, rumor has it, it's taking you from 6'7" to 6'7.5.
Did you hear those rumors?
I heard them pretty loud.
Fact check true.
That is true. Blaine, you love to get athletically green.
Every morning. Like I don't feel right if I don't have it every morning.
Yeah.
Right? Something just feels off. It's like my body knows, right? My immune system knows. Do it every morning. First of all, it tastes great. Two, man, it's a super healthy, good health. That's where it starts.
Are you pre-show or post-show? Because morning to us means a completely.
I'm both.
You take. Wow.
You're both.
Yeah.
You're ambidextrous.
I try to do it during the show too.
You're ambidextrous.
If they let me. I'll go straight out of the powder. You know what I'm saying? Don't even need any liquid.
I thought you were done with that part of your life.
Sorry, TMZ.
All right, one more for the boost. One more for the Booster Club. They're gonna get a best of work.
All right, let's go to Ethan Williams, $5 donation. Appreciate it, Ethan.
E.T.
He says, how can Kuiper, oh God, how can Kuiper have Will Levis as the best QB in the draft? He keeps comparing him to Josh Allen's upside, but the situation was an anomaly.
Is Mel Kiper a vampire? Can you have hair like that?
You just said his name, so Mel Kiper won.
Yeah,
You know,
well, like,
that's all he wants.
Can we be honest though?
No, that's what I'm saying. All he wants is to get his name said.
If somebody came out and said Mel Kiper was born and raised in Transylvania and is a vampire, would we really be shocked with that hair? Look at Mel Kiper. I have never seen a more Give this man one of those, what do they call him, a cape? Like, you know, with the vampire, like the funnel thing around the neck. It's like they're like, did you know Mel's father, Count Bill Kiper, you know, lived in a castle in Transylvania? I would not be shocked.
So Mel's somewhere in a dark room while someone plays the piano. He's just floating around the room.
That's exactly right. Like trying to Google where the local blood bank
Him
is.
and Todd McShay are just becoming a joke.
Look,
more.
and here's what I'll say. Part of me, I get it. Okay, I get it. All right. You got to say stuff that's kind of wild and out there to draw attention to yourself, especially when you've missed as much as Mel Kiper. I don't know who's missed more. A blind person and trying to
a blind archer
against Jacob deGrom, or Mel Kiper when it comes to draft picks. Will Levis checks a lot of boxes, but not all these boxes that these guys have him going as like the number 2 overall pick. The man's Mitch Trubisky. He's Mitch Trubisky.
What about Baker?
He's bigger than Baker. He's just bigger. Like he is body type wise similar to Mitch.
I just mean the type of success he can have.
I don't think we'll have as much success as Baker. He's. I'm telling you, he's not accurate. He's not accurate. Okay, you can be, and he's not as big as Josh Allen is. Okay, Josh Allen's a monster.
Yeah.
Okay, Will Levis is big, but he's not Josh Allen. He's not accurate. I get he can run. Look what happened when you took Wan'Dale Robinson off him at Kentucky. Just one guy. One guy. If you're going to go that high, you're going to go to a fledgling organization. And he is going to look like a poor man's Daniel Jones that runs a little bit more early. I'm just telling you guys right now. But I get that Mel Kiper and them have to do this. I get that they have to do it. But I can still be pissed off about it. And I can still think it's just bad analysis. Just bad analysis. I mean, to me, there is 4 to 5 quarterbacks I would take over Will Levis in this draft. 4 to 5 before I'd even touch Will Levis. I would take Jake Haener and Will Rogers over Will Levis. I really would. People think I'm crazy. Same people also thought I was crazy when I said Walker Kessler is going to be a better NBA player than Chet Holmgren. And let's see how that's working out. One of them just got sponsored by Adidas because he's playing well. The other one whose bones are made of bubble gum and rubber bands. I don't know if he's going to be able to play more than 20 games in the NBA in his career.
Bubble gum and rubber bands.
Yeah, it
All
makes Greg Oden look like Cal Ripken Jr.
Let's go to a $2 donation from Greg Hart. Appreciate it, Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
This is my weekly cue. Lions' chances to make the playoffs, baby.
Woo! Woo!
We'll get to that.
We're going to get to the Lions. I'm so jacked and
Go to Jimbo Eagle, another one, $2 donation. Appreciate it, Jimbo, choosing violence this morning. This is, who's your money to win the NFC South?
All right, just so people on audio, we're gonna get to that too.
Yeah.
We'll read off the teams in the NFC South for some of you out there that don't know all the teams. I do want to get to best and worst though before we get Brandon Marcello in here and play and grade that higher.
Go ahead.
All right, so my best, y'all know we do this every week. We get a best and a worst, one from college and one from the NFL. I will start with college. All right, and we're also gonna pick our which of the week. Okay, and 2 of mine are kind of somewhat similar. My best, Oregon State. Oregon State. Jonathan Smith started out, I think, it was like 9-22 over his first 3 years. And then you look what he's been able to flip it and do now. Oregon State, to me, they have an identity. I think the quarterback position is going to continue to improve. I love the physicality that they played with. Oregon State was a ground and pound play action team. This wasn't Oregon State, let's spin it around, or let's run the air raid. I know Jonathan Smith was a quarterback at Oregon State, but they were a run to pass team. It's going to be interesting to see how he continues to move them up with USC and USC and UCLA leaving. But it just goes to show you, I think at a place like Oregon State, where you're not in the absolute pressure cooker of the SEC or the Big Ten or some places in the ACC, you have a little more time. And sometimes that works out to let the coach be able to do his thing and implement what he wants to do. And I think you're seeing that with Jonathan Smith. If Jonathan Smith would have went to any SEC school outside of Vanderbilt and went 9-22 over the first 3 years, he would have been fired after that third year. But Oregon State stuck with him because there's not the push out there to just go in and get rid of guys really quickly, and you see it paying dividends. My worst, Cincinnati. Not only did you make a terrible coach hire, you played horrible in the bowl game. Played absolutely horrible in the bowl game. You let Louisville punk you. You just took their coach. You knew they were going to be upset. I know that Ben Bryant didn't play. Well, guess what? Malik Cunningham didn't play. And Prater, and I know Cincinnati's going to get guys through the portal, and they're going to the Big 12, and this, that, and the other. But I'm looking at Prater. Kid can't throw it good enough. Now, I know he made some wacky throws while being hit to score the touchdown and make you feel like you were back in it. But Cincinnati, I think Cincinnati's about to fall off a cliff. And if I'm any team in the Big 12 looking at them hiring Scott Satterfield, I'm a lot less worried about Cincinnati now than I am about UCF, than I am about Houston, than I am about BYU. I think Cincinnati's going to do the worst out of all those teams that are going to the Big 12. Yep.
Interesting. My best is the Troy Trojans. Big victory over an 11-win UTSA team. Also, both of them finished in the top 25. Troy finished 12-2. And keep in mind, one of those losses was on the road at Appalachian State when they threw a Hail Mary, with College game day there. Otherwise, their only loss would be to Ole Miss.
Well, do you realize if South Alabama wins their bowl game, South Alabama and Troy would go a combined 22-4? Pretty daggone good.
That's really good.
That is good. My worst is Florida, but we already talked about Florida a little bit. But yeah, I mean, you finished the year with a losing record. I expected a little bit more from Billy Napier, but I still think he can have success there.
All right, my best is Bryce Young and Will Anderson deciding to play. I get it if you don't play to a certain extent. I understand it, but I think it's a good look for not only these two, who should be both top 5 picks, in my opinion, but it's a good look for Saban. I know that Alabama's had a lot of players in the portal, but your best players, your best leaders are showing up in kind of a bowl game where you expected more. You expected to be in the playoffs. I think this is a good look for both these guys for NFL scouts, and it's a pretty good look for Alabama and Nick Saban. My worst was North Texas because of one reason. You lost to Boise State. You lost to a quarterback who can barely throw. That's it.
Yeah, well, I mean, North Texas defense, I was shocked they kept it that close, to be honest with you. When it comes down to Bryce and Will, this is stupid. It's not smart. It's not, I get it. I get it, and I understand it. But if that's my son, you're not playing. You're not playing.
I understand that.
If that's my son, and you know what? In this situation, if I'm and I've had the pleasure of meeting Craig and knowing Craig, and their family is unbelievable. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting Will Anderson or his family, but doing the show with Bryce Young last year and meeting his family, they are unbelievable and they are smart people. But if this is my son, you are not playing. And I will come out and have a press conference by myself. I'll LeVar Ball this whole thing. I will have a press conference by myself and say, you know what? I'm not letting my son play. My son wants to play, but I'm not letting him play. So if you want to get mad at anybody, get mad at me. But that's just the way I feel about it. And people say, oh, well, you're not a team guy or whatever. You know what? You know what team matters the most is that family. That's the team that matters to them. That's the real team at the end of the day. Bryce Young and Will Anderson have done a ton for the University of Alabama. They owe the University of Alabama nothing at the end of the day. They have bled and sweat for that university. So, it'd be different if they were just kind of a mercenary in there for 1 year, and then I still think it would be kind of crazy to play. But I do commend them. I just wouldn't make the same decision.
But Bryce and those guys are already getting paid from NIL, so that plays a little bit into this.
It does. It's a different.
It's not like they're going to be left with nothing if they were to have a career-ending injury.
That's true. That's true. But again, I know what these guys' goals are. Bryce Young's goal is not that he's been working since he was a little kid and his mom and dad were taking him to practice and doing all these other things while everybody else was out there partying. He was in there looking at the playbook and drinking water and doing the right things. Same thing with Will Anderson, to go to the NFL to ball because you have that opportunity. And again, like I said, I understand it. I think you can argue it logically from both sides. Mm-hmm. I just wouldn't make the same decision if it was my kid, and I would take the brunt of it.
And I understand that.
Yeah. All right, best and worst from the NFL. My best, the Jags. Okay. Was it kind of fluky? Yep. Is Dak Prescott a diet Kirk Cousins? Yes. All right. I don't put this all on Dak. There were some plays earlier in the game and some throws I thought he missed that could have put the game away. But let's watch the play to seal it. Another huge play this weekend. 34-34. We're in overtime. Touchdown ends the game either way, but the Cowboys are driving to kick a field goal to win it. Let's go ahead and show the play.
Blitz coming. Prescott throws backwards.
And I hate this for Noah Brown,
Jenkins has another one.
who tipped the ball that got picked. He had a hell of a game.
Jenkins is going to win it.
Jacksonville, 6-8, boys. 6-8. Now let's remember, the Cowboys could have clinched a playoff berth with this win. Okay, so they're going to have to wait another week. I don't put this all on Dak. Noah Brown, I think
have done more, though.
I think he could have done more. But Noah Brown, you got to make this catch. I mean, you had 2 touchdowns, had a hell of a game, and you and KJ Osborne were the wide receiver 2s of the week, in my opinion, up until this point, and you still had a great game. But how about the Jacksonville Jaguars and Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence? We said this yesterday before the games came on. Trevor Lawrence is starting to make good decisions in big moments, and that was his biggest problem before. He was treating big moments like he did in college, where you can just out-athlete everybody and make every big play. Trevor Lawrence is now making the right decision, whether that's throwing away and then making the big throw. I mean, you look, there was one play yesterday, and this looked like it had stuck the dagger in the Jags. He spins out of a sack, runs for 15 yards, not great ball security, ball gets hit up, fumble recovered by the Cowboys. Looks like it's done, but the Jags never quit. Doug Peterson knows how to win. Really excited for that group going forward with him and ETN. You look at what Zay Jones has done. I mean, hell, Marvin Jones Jr., the Jaguars a little bit scary right now with Trevor figuring it out. The defense is playing together. We know how talented some of the young guys are on that defense, so really excited for Jacksonville. And my worst is the Washington Commanders, because I'll never forgive you, okay? Like I said earlier in the show. Like, I still haven't forgotten, and it's been 20 minutes. How do you, in the biggest game of your season, and Washington's been playing fantastic. If you look, they had Steve Kornacki talking about how big of a swing game this is, that if the Giants win this game, they have an 88% chance of making the playoffs. If they lose, it's at 31%. If the Commanders win this game at home against a struggling lately Giants team, they had a 98% chance of making the playoffs. You don't deserve to make it. You don't deserve to make it after that last night. And you can't even lose. I had you plus 4.5. You can't lose by a field goal. You don't score a touchdown. You don't score a single touchdown at home. Great performance by the Giants, but
They scored 1.
You scored 1. I'm shocked at how bad the Commanders looked. It was bad to me. And you ruined my parlay.
Well, my best, I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions. Yes. Now 500, won 6 of their last 7 after that 5-game losing streak. Second in the NFC North. I don't think they're going to win that division. But again, we've been talking about the NFC, how the wild card spots are going to be very, very interesting. The Detroit Lions positioning themselves for one of those spots after a come-from-behind 20-17 win on the road against the New York Jets. The Lions have shown that they can win these big shootout games when their defense struggles, right? Like the highest scoring game of the year against, who was it, Seattle, something like that. Now they've proven they can go on the road in the elements and win a game by scoring 20 points and holding the Jets on the road to 17 points. So that's, you got to feel good about that if you're a Lions fan right now.
You know who the Lions remind me of right now? And I know we still got a couple more weeks till the playoffs if they were to make it. The Lions remind me of that basketball team that was okay during most of the regular season and then gets hot the last week of the regular season and runs through the conference tournament, and they make the NCAA tournament as like a 7 seed, and you're sitting there as like the 2 seed or the 1 seed, and you're looking in that second round like, do I really want to play these guys right now? I know they were struggling earlier, but they are hot. The Lions, what is it, 6 of 7? They've won 6 of their last 7. Dan Campbell, man. And they had Hard Knocks there at the beginning of the year, and teams have struggled to win with Hard Knocks. We'll see how they finish. But I tell you what, the gumball smuggler, Jared Goff, did it again. Just always looks like he's at the orthodontist.
About the 4th and 1 tight end delay crossing.
Great play.
All for a touchdown.
What was that, Brock Wright?
Just incredible.
It was. Look, incredible. It's a lot of witchery going on right now in Detroit, and there's about as excited since the Tropics finished 4th up there in Flint.
My worst, since we've already talked about that Patriots ending, how about I'll go NFC South. Panthers lose to the Steelers at home. Bucks lose to the Bengals at home. The Saints and the Falcons played each other, so
somebody
unless it
had
was
to
a
win
tie,
that
I
game.
really thought that game was just going to end in a tie.
Yeah.
Just to go ahead and put a cap on it. But it's not good right now. All 4 of the teams in that division are under 500. That's bad.
Yeah.
Should there be a rule? What would we feel? And in the comments, I want to get your opinion on this. Should there be a rule? I know they say, all right, automatically the division winners will make the playoffs. But should there be like a certain benchmark of wins to where that division winner, if the top team in that division doesn't win a certain amount of games, that turns into another wild card spot?
Could do that.
Like if you're sitting here.
You're wild on saying that.
I mean, if we're trying to get the best teams in there, right? I mean, we're automatically giving guys playoff spots just because you're in a division. Again, I'm down for taking the best teams.
Or
the 7 best teams in the AFC.
Does?
Well, see, here's my.
The NBA just ranks them.
I like that better. Well, what are we talking about with conferences, like with the SEC and stuff like that? No divisions. Now you can have the AFC and the NFC. That's fine. Those are conferences to me. But when you have divisions within conferences and you're guaranteeing playoff spots from each division, and I get what they're trying to do. Most of these divisions are regional. They're trying to get representation from each region to increase, viewing and spread the sport. I get that. But if we're really trying to get the best teams in there, why do we have divisions? Let's just have AFC and NFC. Give me your best 7 from the AFC. Give me your best 7 from the NFC. Or hell, just have the NFL and take the best 14 teams. You finish in the top 14, we'll go through the tiebreakers. I like it better that way, like the NBA, like kind of the way the NBA does it with the East and the West. Like you have your AFC, have your NFC. Give me the best 7, we'll seed them out like that.
I don't mind that at all. All right, my best, Kayvon Thibodeau.
Dude,
A lot of guys who caught a lot of flack coming out in the draft. I was including one of those guys. Really didn't like the pickup. Ends up with 12 total tackles, 9 solos, a sack, 3 tackles for loss, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, and a touchdown.
That's a day.
The kid balled on prime time, and with that personality he has, it fits well. And my worst was the Bucks in the third quarter. I've never seen someone fall apart that much in a quarter. You have a mess up on a fake punt. You have a kick return for 6 yards. You fumble twice, and you throw a pick.
Tom Brady just dropped a handoff.
You fumble twice, and you throw a pick. I haven't seen it that bad in a long time. Something's broken with the Bucs.
The Bengals could do nothing.
Nothing.
The first drive the Bengals had looked good, ended up getting that tip interception to Carlton Davis, and then did nothing for the rest of the first
Joe Burrow
half.
runs back 40 yards. Vontae David holds a guy on a 3-yard route. That's what bad teams do. This is what the Bucs are to me. Super athletic, but football common sense, stupid. Stupid.
I don't think I know it sounds crazy saying that about a Tom Brady-led team, but I don't think he's wrong. The proof's in the pudding.
Something's broken, man.
Something is broken. All right, which of the week? Mine, like I talked about yesterday, Frank Gore Jr. from Southern Miss in the bowl game against Rice. Absolutely boiled them, stirred them, cooked them, fried them. However you want to do Rice, Frank Gore Jr. did it. Let's go ahead and run. It's 31-24 right now. This one, put it away. Let's go ahead and run the clip here in the Lending Tree Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. Played at South Alabama Stadium. Let's go ahead and run the clip.
They start at their 40.
This is Frank Gore's son. Ting, 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 ting. I mean, that's a massive hole.
With a cut.
Look, he's
Works at safety.
Look, he's running straight to the transfer portal.
Yeah, look at him. There's a transfer portal at the end.
There it is.
Yeah, if I'm like Blaine said, the minute that last second ticked off the clock, I'm automatically in the transfer portal. Frank Gore Jr. ended up with over 320 yards on 21 carries, which is ridiculous. That is 15 yards per carry. Let's go ahead and run this little extra clip right here, too, with Alyssa Lang.
Broke a school record with rushing yards. How'd you do it?
Grateful for these guys right here. They opened up lanes and just I knew how important this was for our team.
Look at his aunt.
Auntie, chill. This was for our team, and just we had to come out and get it done.
Auntie's got to give you some love over here. I know your dad was giving you some coaching on the sideline just now. What do you say about tonight?
I'm thankful for all my teammates. I owe it all to these guys. They've been with me through the dark times, through the ups.
That's hilarious. His aunt I'm glad he's got some situational awareness because his aunt has none.
So it looks just like his dad.
But I saw Frank, looks just like his dad. Runs similar to his dad. Not as big, but runs similar to his dad. I was going to do my worst was his auntie. But how funny was it? I saw Frank Gore Jr. on the sideline talking to him. What if he looked at him? He's like, oh, 300 yards on 21 carries is still not good enough.
Yeah.
No, it was a great performance by him. And look, if I'm a team, does he have blazing speed? No. But he is very good in between the tackles. He has great. He's his father. He runs like his father.
Dad, yeah.
It's the exact same. I'm just describing Frank Gore.
He's one of those guys you can't touch in a phone booth.
Yeah, he was my witch of the week, and he was 2 for 3 in Wildcat quarterback with 19 yards and a touchdown pass.
Yeah,
so Frank Gore Jr. beat Rice the other day. It's great to watch.
I love that. My witch of the week, A.J. Brown. This guy could be the witch of the week every single week.
Monster.
9 catches, 181 yards. Trust me, when I was talk about losing to Andrew Clavin, I'm playing against this guy.
Yeah.
Seems like every week I'm playing against A.J. Brown. 74 receptions on the year, 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. Now, the guy is a superstar. Why he's not still in Tennessee, I'm not quite sure, but he is a star.
They kept Ryan Tannehill. That's all they need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't know really the bumpers on which of the week. Does it have to be a football guy?
No,
It's different. I picked Lionel Messi.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I mean, you finally did it. You finished to the Germans. Then you come back and win this game. First of all, didn't watch a single second of this game.
Oh, yeah, that sucks.
You didn't
for
watch
you.
any of this?
No,
That
not
sucks
a
for you.
single
It's the
second
best
of this
soccer
game.
game I've ever seen.
But good for Lionel Messi, man. He deserves this after everything he's been through. The conversation is now over on who is the best between Ronaldo or Messi. It is that man right there holding that trophy. In my opinion, the best soccer player ever to live.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in rapid fire too. It's one of the greatest soccer games that I have seen. And if you want the greatest cup of coffee that you've ever seen or tasted, go to blackriflecoffee.com. Use our promo code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, for 10% off coffee, coffee gear, apparel, or when you sign up for maybe the most exclusive club going in the United States right now. That's a new coffee club subscription. That's blackriflecoffee.com. Use our promo code BOOSTER for 10% off. Black Rifle Coffee, supporting veterans and America's coffee.
Dave.
What do you got? Is that Power Llama?
Power Llama, which I had this weekend for the first time.
Life-changing?
Delicious.
Power Llama.
Delicious. You guys should get on some of this morning.
You know,
I
they say the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. Yeah,
Lies.
that's a lie.
Lies.
Put Black Rifle
Boom.
Coffee in your cup. Got nothing on me, Mr. Folgers. But another guy that we always enjoy waking up and talking some college football with is our buddy Brandon Marcello from 247 Sports. Brandon, appreciate you getting on with us on this Monday as we march toward Christmas, the greatest time of year.
Absolutely, man. I've had Christmas lights up, it seems like, for 3 months.
Well, so you put yours up. Are you a pre-Thanksgiving Christmas lighter?
They go up before Thanksgiving. I don't light them up until after Thanksgiving.
I tell you what, that is a very organized and smart way to do it. We kind of do something similar. Now, like I said, there's like a Christmas bomb that got dropped off on my house right now, which is great because I love Christmas. All right, that's the only time I drink eggnog, and it's good, Blaine. So
that reminds me, you gotta eat some cranberry sauce.
Oh yeah, damn it, I shouldn't even have brought that up. All right, Brandon, I want to start with a little game that we call, well, I just created it last night, but this is what we call it, Grade That Hire. All right, we know the coaching carousel is in full swing and not just for Fansville. So I'm going to give you the team, you give me the grade, and a short explanation on why you gave said grade. Cool?
All right, I'm good for that.
All right, we're going to start off, here we go, Auburn, with what Hugh Freeze is doing right now. Grade that hire, Brandon.
A-. I love what they're doing recruiting right now. I mean, you should be doing that at Auburn. It's amazing what Brian Harsin wasn't doing while there. And I think the only hire that would have made more sense and maybe fit better would have been Lane Kiffin. But Hugh Freeze, I know him well, and it's a fantastic hire.
Yeah, to quote Dr. Evil, it's frickin' freezing in here right now. All right, here we go. Brandon Marcello, Cincinnati hires Scott Satterfield. Grade that hire.
C-. Louisville was doing everything they could possibly to get his recruiting going, giving him more money to help build a recruiting staff and all this. And instead, he was looking to leave for South Carolina a couple of years ago and then trying to get out with Cincinnati. He never really got along with the fans there, really didn't have a lot of great results, even with some great talent, especially Malik Cunningham. And now he's off to Cincinnati, and I think Cincinnati's probably not going to be doing too well here over the next few years, especially as they get in the Big 12.
I agree. Do you think that Cincinnati bailed Louisville out? That's what it looks like to me.
Oh yeah, they saved them the money, number one, and then they got their dream hire, Jeff Brom. I mean, talk about a fantastic Christmas.
Yeah, it's a good luck Chuck situation for sure. All right, Colorado hires prime time Deion Sanders. Grade that hire.
Oh, A+ for them because they were in the absolute dumps right now. I think Dion is going to come in there and just absolutely revitalize that roster. They're going to have 40, 50 new players going into next season. And not to say they're going to be winning right away, but they'll get to a bowl game probably next year, depending on how things go with this transfer portal. And the question is just the longevity of it. But listen, Colorado needed a spark because I don't think anything was going to get them going with the way their hires have been working out, because I think they've actually made some good hires here recently. Dion's the guy that can go in there and just immediately light the fire.
Yeah, I've heard more talk about Colorado football in the last 2 weeks than I have in the last 10 years. Last one, Brandon Marcello, Wisconsin hires Luke Fickell. Grade that hire.
I give it a solid A right now. I am so fascinated. This is the most interesting offseason hire for me. It's not Luke Fickell, but him bringing in Phil Longo to run the offense. We're going from the Wisconsin ground and pound to an air raid. Is some air raid concepts? I can't wait to see how that works out. I mean, Wisconsin went out. They got a quote-unquote outsider, but they're so used to winning 10 games a season. They go out and get a guy who does that for, in a different way. But he's going to change things there. How's that going to work out? And I think it's a great decision to do so because the Big Ten's about to change with getting rid of divisions. It's not going to be as easy to get to the Big Ten championship as it was for them when they were in the Big Ten West.
Yeah, it's a total identity change. It's like dating a vegan and then the farmer's daughter. I mean, just two totally
that is a
worlds.
change.
Cone, what do you got?
That is a change. Brandon, last time we talked, Lane Kiffin was seemingly on the cusp of taking that Auburn job like you were talking about. It always felt kind of like a Jimmy Sexton special, trying to get a raise. I said it was just as likely Lane Kiffin stays at Ole Miss, takes the Auburn job, becomes the head coach of the Vikings, or retires from football completely. I have no idea what this guy is gonna do. Do you have any more information on how that situation played out? And do you think now Lane Kiffin finally, for the first time, sort of deciding to stay in one place? Is he in it for the long haul with Ole Miss?
Yeah, Family, I think, tugged at him a little bit in wanting to stay there in Oxford. His kids are going through their formative years. They like living there. Also, I think that he probably just didn't want to get involved in the mess that can be Auburn at times. This was a situation where it was just going to come down to his decision. And the thing for him, though, is he had like a few weeks to think about it. And it was during the end of the season. I think that hurt his team a little bit. Even though he thought he could wrangle that all in, that big loss to Arkansas on the road was huge. But to me, and from talking to people, it was as simple as the job was his. If he wanted it at Auburn, he decided to stay because he didn't feel like the jump at this point was worth the potential risks. He feels like he can be successful enough at Ole Miss, be happy with his life. And that's the other thing. We talk about people changing. I mean, Lane has become someone who's much more kind of centered in the sense that he's a little bit more religious right now. He's kind of fallen into that a little bit. That's his strength. That's what he leans on. And I think that he was in a situation where he feels calm with himself. He doesn't feel like he's got to jump to another gig to get what he wants in life.
Yeah, no, I like that. The Florida Gators, we've been talking about them a lot this morning. Billy Napier, 6-7 in his first season in Gainesville, 30-3 loss in the bowl game. What do you expect to see from the Gators next season? Is a 10-win season possible for Billy next year?
Well, they need to win 8-9 games to even keep any heat off of him. Florida and Miami are very similar in the sense that I wasn't expecting them to have much of a season this year. I was expecting them to be more successful than they were. But listen, all throughout that bowl game, even before the bowl game, I was sitting there going, Billy Napier would love to be anywhere but here. And he would love to be on the phone right now recruiting in someone's living room right now. They need to improve that roster. They will. Florida, to me, was like a 3 to 4 year process. Whereas to Miami, I was comparing them to Miami. Miami might be like a 2-year process because their roster was in a better situation. And certainly that's what we saw from Florida this year. I saw a stat today about this morning about how Florida has done since the shoe incident, throwing the shoe. They're 1-7 against ranked opponents since then, and that one win. was the season opener against Utah. They got to get things turned around there. I think they will, but it's a 3-year process for Billy Napier.
Man, I agree 100%. You could tell in Billy Napier's pregame speech with the team, they show him in the locker room right before they go out. Billy Napier's like, all right, guys, let's just do this together. All right, 1, 2, 3 together. 1, 2, 3. I was like, they're about to get murdered.
All right, you're going to get replaced on 3.
This is your last game on 3. All right, guys, everybody get in here.
All right, Brandon, we're going to go to the Booster Club. But first of all, man, the beard looks phenomenal. I'm a little bit jelly, I'm going to be honest. All right, let's go to David S. All right, hashtag Ask Brandon. That's you. If Florida is unable to land McCall, which I believe they're Grayson McCall, what QB in the transfer portal should we go after?
I don't know. I thought Grayson McCall was Auburn bound, but there's apparently some issues potentially with transferring credits.
Come on, man. Just let the credits transfer. Why can't we just say, yeah, let it transfer? How bad do you want to win? Never happens at Bama.
Yeah, well, it'd be a perfect fit in that offense for Hugh Freeze. I don't quite know. I mean, here's the other thing. There's going to be some more quarterbacks that enter that portal here in this last half of this window. We've got this 45-day window. But also, I know fans don't want to hear this, but in the spring, when the 15-day window opens up, I think we're going to see some other potentially big names out there. And for Florida right now, Grayson McCall is certainly a guy to look at. I'm surprised we haven't heard more from Hudson Card out there as well. We'll see. And then DJU, I think he's headed out west somewhere. But what's interesting about that is UCLA kind of making some moves elsewhere in the quarterback portal. I don't know. I think he's got his eyes on the West Coast, but I do think he'd be a good fit at Florida. I just don't know if there's some mutual interest there.
Okay, I love it. Texas Ed, I think Oregon State would be a great place to land for the quarterback. Hashtag Ask Brandy says, should college football move some of the major personnel things to after the bowl season, like the recruiting window, transfer portal, maybe a little bit of the coaching carousel?
They got to figure something out. I don't know what the answer is there. I think the transfer portal, everything has good intentions, but the transfer portal thing and the timing of it, it's just brutal on the coaches. It's brutal on the players. And the other thing is it's very, very unfair to the high school recruits. Some of these high school recruits, they go into the month of December, they're like getting talked to every day. You're our number one recruit, commit to us. And then 2 weeks later, they could find out, hey, we don't really have a spot for you right now because we just brought in 5 transfers and 2 of them are at your position. And would you be interested in gray shirting? That's not good for the high school recruits. So you're ramping up the timeline for a lot of these high school kids to commit. And also, you better be signing on this early signing day here this week on Wednesday, or you probably will not have a spot come February.
No, that's the thing. I mean, if you better be just an absolute stud to wait until February to sign, because it's not like, I think some people think the new rule is that, they added scholarships. No, they didn't. They said you can sign more than 25 in a class, but it doesn't add to the 85 that's already on the roster. So those spots, and if I'm a coach, transfer portal with NIL is free agency. That's what it is. It's just like the NFL. You are paying for a proven commodity as a player. I know what that player can do in college. Getting a high school kid with NIL, it's like the draft. I'm projecting that player and what he's going to be. So I'm with you, Brandon. I think they got to change the timeline, especially with the new signing period. It's not even the early signing period anymore. That is the signing period in December. But please, Brandon, tell everybody where they can find your work. Love getting you on, my friend. Always excited talking to you. And you are the inaugural man of Grade That Higher. So congratulations on that as well.
Well, thank you very much. I hope I got at least a C myself for my grades.
I'm giving you a B+ at least right now.
Well, good. 247sports.com and signing days Wednesday. We're having a transfer portal palooza a couple of weeks ago, and now it's signing day chaos. So here we are.
Definitely. Well, make sure you check out 247 and Brandon Marcello. Brandon, appreciate it, my friend. I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Before we get to the member break, Cone, I want to hit a little rapid fire.
All right, let's do it. Blaine touched on it a little bit, but we got to dissect it. Lionel Messi leads Argentina to their 3rd World Cup victory. He had 2 goals, and it is worth noting that Mbappe had the hat trick for France and got the golden boot. So when we're talking about greatest players of generation, man, he almost pulled a comeback for the ages.
Here's what I'm going to say about this game. I woke up yesterday, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to bet on this game. Took the over 2.5 goals at plus 120. I watch English Premier League. I've watched Bundesliga. watch La Liga. I enjoy really high-level soccer. I won't watch MLS because that's the same reason I don't watch women's basketball. I don't want to watch the worst version of the sport professionally, okay? That game yesterday, and I've seen some really good ones. The last World Cup game, I mean, Croatia and France was a hell of a game last time. That's the best soccer game I've ever seen. It's the best soccer game I've ever seen. And out of all the games, any league, any division, whatever, and it just so happened to be in the finals of the World Cup. You had great defense at times. You had explosive offense. You had incredible shots. Mbappe, the shot he hit to tie the game, the concentration level. I mean, we talk about, hand-eye coordination, hand-foot coordination, whatever. That takes extreme athleticism. Watching Lionel handle the ball, watching the effort and the tact and the gamesmanship that went on with that. Because penalty kicks isn't just a free-for-all, roll of the dice, let's gamble. Like, there's actual strategy and substitutions you do before you go to penalty kicks. But that game had everything. You know how you know when something's a great game? When you have no team in that game and you're still nervous.
Yeah.
I was nervous watching that game. Hell of a run by France at the end to push it into extra time. Argentina just too much in penalty kicks. And I tell you what, I enjoyed that about as much as I think I can enjoy a soccer game that the United States isn't playing in.
No, I agree with you. I'll watch anything that is the most elite level of what the sport has to offer. I'll watch the women's Wimbledon final for sure. So I did watch this game, not going to lie, not going to, as Blaine would say, cap. I did watch the final, and it was enthralling. It was a great game, especially when Mbappe comes back with 2 goals under 2 minutes to tie the game. We were looking, my buddy Chris was in town, we were looking at the live odds on France throughout the game. It got up to like plus 1,800, like plus 2,000. Then all of a sudden it's 2-2. It's anyone's game. Even watching it, though, as exciting as it was, there's still just a few fundamental issues that I have with soccer. Like, one main one is the sport is so unorganized. With there being one referee, the idea that when the ball goes out, some of the players on the sideline can just take the ball and throw it farther to waste more time, and you never know truly how much stoppage time there is, and it seems so arbitrary with not only some of the penalties but also stoppage time. The idea that the play could continue because it's an intense moment, like Argentina almost scored there at the very end of stoppage time, but as soon as there was no longer a threat, that's when the stoppage time whistle was blown. I'm sitting there watching. I'm just kind of laughing.
Well, we're so used
that.
We're so used to, like, in basketball and football, like it being very defined.
It's which it should be, right? Because you're talking when it's something that's this important, and not only the World Cup final, but like truly, I really thought that Lionel Messi's legacy was sort of hanging in the balance. Not if he just hadn't won the World Cup this year, you could still say, like, obviously he's one of the greatest players of our generation, but to be up 2-0 in the final and to blow that lead, and Mbappe, who is also 23 years old, who would have back-to-back World Cup finals and had a hat trick, sort of the passing of the baton. But as it turned out, it was an enthralling game, and I think it was a legacy completer for Messi.
Yeah, I thought it was cool during penalty kicks when the goalie from Argentina did what you do when you're playing somebody in horse, or you're playing somebody in
Gotcha.
In horse, and they're hot from a certain spot, and you just throw them the ball back and move them to get them off their spot. And the goalie did that to the French guy.
And he was like dancing afterwards.
Dude, I absolutely loved it.
I'm just going to say one thing about this. If I'm Mbappe, I'm fighting everybody in the locker room after the game. How much money do we have to give you to come play for the USA?
What do we have to do?
What do we have to do? What do you want?
Pure citizenship.
We'll give you France.
It's either my plan. It's either my plan. It's either my plan, which I know would work, Operation Petadexterity, or we just start making other players American citizens.
What sport and position would Mbappe play if he came to America and didn't play soccer?
Well,
would he play DB?
I think he'd play nickel.
You think he's that physical? I don't think any soccer
He's stout, man.
He's got receiver written all over.
I think
slot action?
All over. You could probably move him around. He could be outside, inside.
True X?
I think he could.
Well, you know what
I don't think you need that size anymore to be
wrong.
a true X.
We're all wrong. We're all wrong. He'd be a field goal kicker.
He kick field goal?
Yeah, we're all wrong. He'd be a field goal kicker.
Yeah, either that or
that's exactly what he'd be.
Just hitting a bunch of mid-range shots.
And he would probably punt, too. Rugby punter. Can you imagine Mbappe as a rugby punter? You talk about a missile ball. they'll have to get Skynet or whatever that thing, whatever Iron Dome or whatever they use to shoot down rockets, because that dude on a rugby punt rolling out and smashing.
It'd be fascinating if he came here, was the fastest player on his team, but he was the kicker because he can boom it from 64.
Yeah. Oh, he could. There's no telling. Let him. I'd love to see Mbappe or Ronaldo and them try and kick field goals just to see.
I want to see how far Zlatan
yeah.
Ibrahimovic could kick a football.
Yeah.
Probably 1,000 yards.
Long ways.
Definitely at
1,000
least
yards.
1,000.
We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but Vikings, largest comeback in NFL history against the Colts. Anything else you guys want to say about it?
No, just look, long live Kirk Cousins, the king. Division winner, leading the NFL in comeback in last-minute drives with 6 this year. The Vikings, look, are they the best team in the NFL? No. Are they going to win the Super Bowl? Probably not. But Kirk Cousins just continues to show you why he's upper mid. Not mid, upper mid. 400 and what? 60 yards, 25 yards, something like that? Come on, man. Brought your team back.
The king of nothing. He's the king of this little place that no one's found, and then just gets taken over like the first place.
Better than Baker.
They just for sure. They just ride into and just kill everybody except the women and children if you're not fit to work. Conrad, he's king of nothing. Haven't won anything.
You know, I don't want to get on here and say bad things about Matt Ryan. I respect him as a person. I respect him as a player. But he's now, I'm just stating a fact, which is he's now on the wrong side of the largest comeback in NFL history in the regular season and in Super Bowl history. Now, when the defense gives up a touchdown every single possession, that's not necessarily your fault. But on the offensive side of that, when you're going 3 and out every time and the other team has the ball, that starts to fall on you a little bit. The largest comeback, Jake, in NFL history.
I'm going to make this really, really easy for Matt Ryan and any team going forward. When you're up 33-0 at halftime, or you're up 36-7 in the third quarter, I am running the ball every play. Every play. Because if I run it and don't stop that clock, after a certain point in time, you cannot come back unless we just fumble. It's mathematically impossible. Because every time that you throw the ball and it's incomplete, it stops that. It takes at least 30 seconds away that you could have wasted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm running it. If I'm Matt Ryan, I am not throwing it anymore with a huge lead. Can't do it.
Especially in the NFL when first downs don't stop the clock.
They don't stop the clock.
That makes sense, but I don't know. Second half, it depends on how much time's left in the game, obviously. We're just talking second half. They did that, right? The Colts were just running it and being unsuccessful. And that's how you stick to your game plan. There's a reason you're up 30-plus points. Well, what you're doing is working. If you get to the fourth quarter and it's still the same, yeah, then you run it. But when you come out in the second half, if you just completely change what you've been doing, stuff like this happens. What you were doing, you were feeding Michael Pittman the ball. It was working. And then you just completely change. It's like almost what they did in the Super Bowl. And then stuff like this happens.
Yeah, well, my thing is this. Yes, but let's not act like it was the Colts offense that was the reason they were up 33-0. You had a block punt for a touchdown. You had a pick 6 at the 10. The Vikings faked a field goal or faked a punt at the 20-yard line and didn't get it. That's 21 points right there. And I think I'm missing a time where the Vikings screwed up. I think they fumbled as well, and the Colts got the ball. So it wasn't like Matt Ryan and them were just dialing it up to Michael Pittman and the rest of these guys. 33-0. I'm coming out and I get the ball to start the second half. I am running it every play. You have 3 timeouts. There's 3 timeouts and a 2-minute warning. And for first downs, the clock doesn't stop. When I run out of bounds, if it's not under 2 minutes, the clock is going to just reload anyway.
Well, it's an interesting philosophical conversation to have because you go into halftime up 33-0 with a lot different attitude than if you're down, right? Maybe you don't feel the necessity to game plan or to make adjustments, which the Vikings certainly did. You have to be thinking, I get it in your head, hey, we're up 33-0. We're going to score a couple more in the second half and we're still going to blow them out. They're going to quit and give up. I know that that's the mentality, but is there a point where, you know what, you still need to go into halftime and make your adjustments because you know they're going to adjust and figure out how to still game plan for them?
Yeah.
You scored 3 points in the second half. You ran the ball 46 times. It's a lot.
Ran
the ball.
How many plays?
A lot.
How many plays did they have in the second half? 60-something?
Well, another part of it is how much time is elapsing between plays. Is Matt Ryan running the clock down inside? Is it a 4-minute drill for the entire second half? That's where the math starts to add in. But that's what I'm talking about. Maybe there's a mentality early in the second half. Well, we're up 33-0. There's no. This.
I think they relaxed on defense more than anything.
Well, that clearly was the case.
I mean, and again, people say, "Oh, well, it's the defense's reason they came back." Well, a lot of it was the defense's reason they were up that much. So, like, I think there's blame that you can move around, but it's just a bad situation, man.
On to the Kansas City Chiefs. Win the AFC West for the 7th consecutive season.
And let me ask you this, because the Chiefs, and unless I'm wrong, have won one Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes, correct?
Yes, correct.
Are the Kansas City Chiefs the Braves of the 90s? Win the division every single year, but only have one championship to show for it?
Well, it's not done yet, right? So
no, it's not done yet. I'm asking you to
and
project because, again, the run's going to end at some point. All right, and the AFC West is a lot more down than what we thought it was going to be this year. But if the Chiefs, let's say the Chiefs win, what did the Braves win, 12 in a row with one World Series?
17.
It was something crazy, 14, somewhere around there, and won one World Series? Like, you win two, okay. All right. But just one, with winning the division, getting in the playoffs that amount of times, I'm just wondering, and I know, look, Mahomes is a witch. I'll be the first one to say it. I love Travis Kelce. But I'm looking at this Chiefs team now, and, man, I just have some concerns a little bit defensively. I love Nick Bolton. All right, we know Chris Jones is a monster, but it just seems to me like this Chiefs defense gives up big plays in big moments. We're not worried about the offensive line anymore if you're a Chiefs fan. Yeah, you lost Tyreek Hill, but offensively, I mean, you're scoring at a higher rate than you did before. But defensively, man, I know the Chiefs haven't always had the best defense. I know they've won with offense. I know that's not their MO, but it just seems like the Chiefs would make big plays and opportune moments on defense last year. I'm just not seeing it this year.
Well, I don't think the Chiefs has ever really been phenomenal.
And I'm not expecting
defense.
that. But, I mean, you know what I'm talking about? Like, they would make the big plays. Like, yesterday, Frank Clark makes the big play late against the Texans. Now, that's the Texans. Okay, and you gave up, 34 points, something crazy like that to the Texans? They were making big plays in those moments in big games last year. They weren't having to do it against the Texans. But I've seen them struggle defensively against bad offenses a lot this year. And that would really, really worry me if I'm a Chiefs.
It feels like they're missing something.
Yeah.
The Braves have won 17 NL East titles, but 11 consecutive.
That's what I'm talking
from
about.
the end of the
Chiefs
90s
won 7
to 2005.
With which, what's harder? The Chiefs to win it in football? Let's say, what's harder? To win 11 straight division titles in football or in baseball? I say in baseball because you play way more games. I think it's harder in baseball.
Gotcha. Justin Fields surpasses the 1,000 rushing yard mark for a quarterback. Third one to do it. Michael Vick, Lamar Jackson, now Justin Fields.
The kid's got a chance. Let me ask you this. You put Justin Fields on the Eagles. What's their record right now?
I was talking about this the other day with someone because clearly he is faster. I think he's a combination of Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson. At the same time, I don't want to take anything away from what Jalen Hurts has been able to do. He's proven that he is an elite leader, which that's a big part of this too. He's proven that he is integral to that locker room. So I say that because the conversation we were having, if Justin Fields is the quarterback of the Eagles, would they be undefeated right now? I'll say no, and maybe even a game or two worse, but still very good.
Yeah, I think Jalen is a better thrower than Justin. Justin is a better runner than Jalen. But I think if you gave Justin Fields that offensive line, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, who's coming back, I think they have the same record, at least.
Justin Fields is doing this by himself.
That's what I'm saying. It's in the NFL,
by himself. The thing about
in the NFL.
I look at it like this. I understand if he was at the Eagles, but what year is Jalen in? 3? Or year 3, right?
I think he's a year old. He's a year ahead.
So in my mind, I'm trying to see Justin at that moment, in the same moment in time where Jalen is, right?
Which you can't do for the question he asked.
No, you can't. So this is where I'm trying to see it in my mind, and I think Justin will be as good, or if not better, than Jalen Hurts at the same point in their careers.
Which is crazy we're even having that conversation because that seemed like a no-brainer.
No,
that seemed like a no-brainer. It's because Jalen Hurts is
playing
so well.
And I think Jalen Hurts has a higher football IQ than what Justin Fields does. I think Jalen Hurts sees it better right now. I think Justin realizes he has no weapons, and he knows he has to do it by himself. So if that first read's not there, he's got to tuck it and go. I get that, but I wish, and I know the Bears are trying to do this, or at least I think they're trying. I wish it would help his development so much more if he actually had faith in his guys like he had in Darnell Mooney, who's now out for the rest of the year, to let him go through progressions. I mean, who's his best weapon on the outside right now? I mean, it's St. Brown or Cole Kmet. I mean, and St. Brown's hurt, right? Equinamius? Didn't he get hurt?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nobody. It's David Montgomery and Cole Kmet and Justin Fields versus everybody. I mean, Justin Fields, that run that he stepped out in the 9 yesterday where he shook that sack off, I mean, it's next level.
But if you're a Bears fan, you should be extremely excited.
Oh, yeah.
Extremely
You've got to put the
excited.
pieces around it, but the potential is definitely there.
Next one, Bo Nix, boys. Coming back. You guys called it. Coming back to Oregon. Going to run it back one more time. What are your thoughts?
Humongous for Dan Lanning. Humongous. Let's go ahead and I believe we have the clip of Bo saying he's coming back.
There's nothing like a Saturday in Autzen Stadium in front of the best fans in college football.
Shot at Auburn.
Kidding me? Bo Nix, touchdown Oregon.
There's nothing like playing for my coaches
Bo Nix to the end zone, touchdown. Majestic.
and going to battle with my teammates.
Next to the score.
There's nothing like being an Oregon Duck. For 2023, I'm back.
And Bo Nix waltzes in. Bo Nix, give me 6. Touchdown, Bo Nix.
Really happy for Bo. Really happy for Bo. Glad he's in a good situation. It looks like Auburn is in a better situation now with Hugh Freeze. Looks like Bo Nix is in a better situation in Oregon. Again, I think it was best that they split.
And this was a COVID ruling, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
An extra year for COVID.
Yep.
Best decision Bo Nix ever made in his life was leaving Auburn.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Gotcha.
100%.
All right, last two here real quick. Dansby Swanson
Yes.
to the Cubs. Your
Good.
thoughts?
Overpaid for him. Good luck. Enjoy that. If people say, oh, no, you lost your shortstop, well, ask the Astros. All right, I love what we got in the farm system. I love the young kid we're going to put it short. Dansby, look, it was good. Thanks for the memories. Fallout Boy won a World Series together. But please be paid by please be overpaid by the Cubs.
Well, with what Alex Anthopoulos was able to do in terms of keeping the majority of this core together and signing all these young guys to long contracts, you knew he wasn't going to be able to sign every single player.
Can't keep everybody.
Right?
You know who Dansby is. I think it was a good move by the Braves, and we'll let the Cubs overpay for him.
Last one. Aaron Judge's 60-second home run ball sold at auction for $1.5 million.
Congrats, you're rich. I thought it would go for way more than that, though.
Not enough.
I mean, I need that decimal to move over on the other side of the 5 there.
If I don't hear 2 in front of it, get out.
Yeah.
200,000?
It's like they say, you know, it's not an estate if it doesn't come with a pool and a gate. I was shocked it was this low. But look, I mean, you know, you did get a bag dropped on you. You're a lot richer than when you went into that game. But, like, I'm telling you guys, if I catch that ball, like, I'm instantly gone. Like, there's no high-fiving. Like, Blaine knows if me and Blaine were at that game and one of us catches that ball, the other one is it's like on an onside kick. Yeah. You know, they tell you to
sacrifice
cover up the guy. You cover up the guy that gets the ball.
Your security.
No, whoever catches it.
Sacrifice your body.
Yeah, you've got to cover up the guy. Let's get him out. You know, first call, security, whatever.
Pictures.
Keanu Reeves showing up with a briefcase handcuffed to his wrist, that type of situation. So no, good for that guy. But speaking about splitting up, if you want to watch the rest of this, remember, if you want to listen, you can stay here. But if you want to watch, head over to Daily Wire Plus and become a member. Because don't you want to be cool? Or you can listen on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share it with your friends. We're coming back with bets and some other stuff. Go Coney, go Coney, go Coney, go Coney. I'm telling you, if you're on audio.
Hey, come on, Dad.
He was with it during the break there. Let's go to the Booster Clubs.
About time. God.
Shut up.
All right, we got some donations. Old War Skull, 88, $5 donation.
Good.
How much of the Saints' woes are on Mickey Loomis instead of Dennis Allen? Also, you are due to gain a new fan in September, Lord willing. Hashtag
Let's go.
baby LSU fan.
Let's
go Tigers.
Another one for the Horde. Here's my thing with the Saints. I blame Dennis Allen. Deep down, I blame Sean Payton for leaving. But you got to put it on Dennis Allen. Look, you can sit here and blame Mickey Loomis. You can blame Andy Dalton. It falls back on Dennis Allen. you're the head coach. And if you look at the way the Saints have struggled to make any good adjustments offensively. Yeah, I mean, you look at yesterday. The Falcons are coming in with Desmond Ridder. Has a first start in the NFL. Saints defense, we know they're talented. Offensively, you come out, you go down and score, get a nice run for a nice pass for a touchdown to the tight end. Then Taysom Hill closes his eyes and throws one down the field to Shaheed that catches it. You're up 14-0, got all the momentum, and you still, Andy Dalton, it's 4th and 1. You're down, you're up 3 points. All right, it's 4th and 1. You're at their 25, trying to ice it away. First down ends it. They have no time, and you fumble the snap. The Saints they beat the Falcons because the Falcons have given up on the year, and you had a rookie starting quarterback. But it just seems like they can't make any of the right moves in games against quality teams. I don't think Dennis Allen's going to be there long. That game shouldn't even have been that close yesterday, especially with the way they started. Just don't trust them. Can't trust them.
Man, you're talking about elite NFL franchise or NFL runs that only resulted in one Super Bowl. The Drew Brees, Sean Payton combination was feared across the NFL season after season. Only got him one Super Bowl out of it. What Matt Moscona was saying, the worst part about having this sort of season is that the Eagles have your first pick.
Oh, yeah.
The Eagles have your first-round pick. The only saving grace is looking at the rest of the NFC South, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
And one of the guys you traded was leading the NFL in interceptions. From the Saints to the Eagles.
Tough.
Not looking great. I blame Andy Dalton just because of the way his face looks.
Well, that's understandable.
Jacob O'Brien, $5 donation, says, Blaine, how can you want more fights in sports than say Yellowstone is mid? It's just the Yellowstone is just the same thing every time.
Explain yourself.
Same thing every time. It's just someone's fighting, something happened to a cow. That one girl's always pissed off.
What's your favorite milkshake or favorite dessert? From where? What's your favorite dessert and from where?
I don't think I have a favorite dessert. I like multiple things.
Okay, what's your favorite
I like multiple
food?
things.
What's your
I don't even I have a favorite food. I just like multiple things.
I'm going to
chocolate
because it's always
where
different.
I'm going.
It's always different.
See, you're just the worst.
Yeah.
Just
see what I did there?
No, I see what you did. You're lying.
What was the answer?
Well, I was going to say, if he said, my favorite thing is a cookies and cream milkshake from Brewster's, I'm going to say, all right, so it's the same every time? You love it, right? Yeah, sometimes consistency is a good thing. But see, he wants to duck it and act like he doesn't have a favorite food or a favorite dessert.
You talking about
Cap. You want to talk about Cap?
I ain't ducking nothing.
You talk about the word Cap?
Do I look like
you're an Aflac commercial.
Do I look like Bo Nix to you? Do I look like Bo Nix?
You're an Aflac commercial. You're ducking so much.
You're a turd ducking.
Yeah, I knew I was going to say that. God, sometimes I hate that our brains work the same.
All right, let's go to Jimbo Eagle, $5. Jimbo, man, appreciate all the donations. Really do. Hashtag fantasy football question. You probably just want to ask me since I did finish first in the regular season. Just made the chip in my league. Let's go. But I'm concerned the Colts will shut down Jonathan Taylor early. Should I play if he's healthy? What else you got out there? I mean, you should be concerned because there's nothing like having a good running back on a bad team. Trust me, I have Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, Derrick Henry.
It's been a disaster. So who else do you have? I don't think they're going to shut it down because you're not. I mean, are the Colts still fighting a little bit to get in the plaplayoffs?
Nah, I think it's
not even close. There's not even a percent chance.
I think they're
What's the percent on it?
5-9 now?
Have y'all seen the guy they have on the NFL show? It looks like he blogs on CNN. Who does the polls?
That's him. That's Mike Kornacki. He is on CNN.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he does the election
really?
Results for the. I think it's CNN.
MSNBC.
MSNBC. One of those. He's like, look,
the Giants and Herschel Walker. If we put these together,
yeah.
What
he was like, listen, if the Commanders faced the Giants in real life, I think the Commanders would win because the Giants would be unorganized. There's a 32% chance.
All right, let's go to David S. Brute, $5 donation. Appreciate it, David. Says Bruce Arians was severely underappreciated as our head coach. This season is proof of that.
Well, any coach that has to wear the Tony Stark thing to be able to coach, you've got to appreciate him. Cliff Kingsbury, will he be there after this year? I'm starting to think no. I'm starting to lean toward no. Kyler Murray, no, it's just doom and gloom, man.
Wait, is he talking Cards or Bucks?
Well, I'm talking about the Cards.
Oh, maybe both.
I think the Bucks.
Maybe
he's
both.
Florida. He was the same guy who talked about Florida earlier about getting Grayson McCall.
Yeah.
So I would think
let me say this really again. Any coach with the Tony Stark thing, you really got to trust. But if I'm the Bucks, the thing that we're all right, let's go to the next.
Jimbo Eagle, another $5 donation. Appreciate it, Jimbo. Hashtag question for Crane Company. What exactly will happen to the city of Buffalo when the Bills win the Super Bowl? It's going to be like what they did.
Tell us, brother.
Like what they did in Wisconsin. They're going to burn it down.
Can we pull up the clip of the snowballs? Okay, so I'm of the camera guy getting hit. So I'm watching the Bills-Dolphins game. I'm watching these snowballs get thrown, which, look, I'm not down for throwing stuff on the field. Was it kind of cool, though? Yeah, I'm not going to lie. So I'm watching this touchdown in real time, and I notice that the cameraman who's up on the lift with his back turned to the fans gets absolutely squared up. I don't know if Jacob deGrom threw this or what. Watch the cameraman. Don't watch the touchdown. Just watch the cameraman. Go ahead and play the clip.
The camera guy absolutely takes one in the back.
Right. Just right in the blade.
Same thing you're not supposed to.
Right in the blade. I had to, right when I saw it, I was losing my mind. Even my animals freaked out. But look at all these fans throwing snowballs. It's like 300. Our arrows will blot out the sun, and the Bills can fight in the shade. Let's go ahead and do it.
Well,
look at this.
This Philly right here.
Yeah, this Philly. But so you have this around the league, right? Like you have it around the league and if it stays in the stands, look, they're just pelting the same guy. But if you watch the Bills game, it was like this, but on the field. It was just like arrows getting shot up. But
Buddy the Elf was a Bills fan.
Dude, I know. That's exactly right. They are just, oh my God.
See, this is why we need a Philly Buffalo Super Bowl. Is that even possible?
It needs to be in a place where it snows.
Yeah, I don't even think you need stands, just a field around. Yeah. A field around.
That would be absolute chaos. All right, I'm headed over the board of truth, extreme justice, corporal punishment, and leniency. So here's what we got. What's up, Replacement Cone? This weekend, I think I went 7-5 overall, was plus 2.5 units. So it's a successful weekend. By the way, I'm putting the units over here. Typically, we put our overall record, not the month record overall, but our overall. I want to put our units here because it helps us keep track of who is actually winning the month. Remember how we do the rules. So tonight, got a little college football and NFL, and I'm going college basketball because after what the Commanders did to me, I'm dead inside. Doesn't matter anymore. So first bet, little two-teamer. Give me Green Bay money line. Please figure it out at home, guys. Please figure it out. Christian Watson, I need you to do the witchery again. Then UConn plus 17. Jim Mora Jr. It's a great story. They're playing Marshall. I think both teams are excited to be there, but UConn's got to be super duper excited. So let's lose by 16 or less. That's going off at minus 105. Then a little college basketball three-teamer. Liberty, money line. New Hampshire, money line. And Illinois State, money line. That's at plus 104. Who knows? Who really knows? One of those teams will screw me by playing bad. We'll see which one it is. Stay tuned. You'll find out tomorrow. Cone, what do you got?
All right, 5-1 on Saturday. Followed that up with a super mid Sunday, 3-3.
Y'all, but I slang now.
Do what?
Cone is. I've always.
You said cap and mid.
Yeah,
Cone.
You said cap and
growing.
He's learning.
He's learning.
All right, UConn, Marshall. I like the over. I like the over 40.5. I'm thinking 27-20, maybe, something like that. That's at minus 110. Then I'm going to take the Packers money line plus the under in the game, 45.5 at minus 115.
Love that.
Nice. Blanya.
All right, I'm slowly Matt Ryaning this entire thing. So I'm going to blow it. I already know I'm going to blow it. It's just Final Destination. It's not like I can die peacefully.
Dude, you're up 15
But I'm the guy who falls off the cliff and doesn't die, but falls off the cliff into a cactus into an ocean full of sharks. So that's what I'm doing at this moment. I'm going to take Green Bay minus 3 and the under 43.5. That's definitely not going to hit. Give me the 76ers money line in the over at 216.5. Not a chance.
Oh, wait, hold on. What's that? Oh, those already hit? They're already
Don't try
done?
to do this, guys.
Don't go ahead and check those
I know
off.
what you're doing.
They're already done.
It's not cute. It's not funny. I'm going to blow it. I know I'm going to blow it.
All right, Baby Cone. Struggling a little bit this month, but that's all right. We got a little bit of time. And don't ever.
Oh, Baby Cone.
He's got a lot to deal with right now.
He's got a lot going on.
He's got a lot to deal with.
Sister's coming.
Yeah, how about you write a nursery rhyme this time, Baby Cone?
Yeah, he's stressing, pressing, doing all that. He's going to go Green Bay Rams under 25.5. Is that correct?
Both teams.
Both teams under 25.5 minus 115. I don't know why my handwriting on the bottom for Baby Cone's terrible, but that's UConn plus
12.5.
Plus 12.5 at minus 115 to minus 115. Bets. Give us your best bet in the comments. I'm heading back over to the chair. I'm just telling everybody on audio what I'm doing step by step. I'm narrating my own life, Morgan Freeman style. Poll.
Who is more mid?
Oh, wow.
Dak Prescott? Kirk Cousins.
Well, I know how the Booster Club is. Their hate for Kirk Cousins.
They hate him.
Is astounding. I'm going to say they said Kirk Cousins is more mid, 58%.
This is where the psychological aspect of this, because a lot of them say Kirk Cousins is sub-mid. So are they saying Dak's mid and they're putting Kirk Cousins under there?
I think they think Kirk's sub.
A lot of psychological aspects, but you know what? Let's just get to it. Kirk Cousins at 59%.
Good bet.
All right, who is more mid? Kirk Cousins at 45%. Dak at 55.
Whoa!
I give myself credit.
The Booster Club saw that 450 with 4 teams this weekend.
I give myself.
Y'all enjoy the rest of the show.
Good to see you, bud.
This is fun.
Yep.
Cone.
You're out of here. You're out
I'll never forgive y'all.
Yeah. Look, I say myself. I congratulate myself there. Oh yeah, go sit in Blaine's chair.
Look at this. This is
God,
fun.
this is so weird.
This
Hold
is
on.
Fun. This is fun. Undo. Let's
The
see what's
camera
going
guys
on
are
in
going to
the
be so
chat.
mad. They're going to be so mad because they're so out of.
He's right. Dak, 54%.
I can't believe that. All right, Blaine. You know what?
How? How?
I thought you left.
I'm back.
I want you to do the going gone today. You do
Okay.
it. Look, you stare right in that camera and you do.
What do you say Crane Company before it, or what do you do?
I just say, make sure you subscribe to the show.
I
follow
slink
us
down
on
these
all
across my
social
legs, too.
medias.
Hey, follow the show. Follow us on all social media, including myself on Twitter, Blaine_Crane. And just like Jake's chance of making the playoffs in fantasy, we're going, gone.